Hi there. This is Beth,
And
Granny
James.
Rocks,
And sweet baby
and
James.
we are really alive this time. I mean, not only are we alive, but we are live.
Yeah, we
Because-
survived.
We did. And we just got our internet back, a scant few hours ago. So, anyway, before we talk about today's show, which is going to be what guides you, ego, fear, or our 9 friends.
Oh.
Yes, intriguing. But before we do that, I'm going to introduce you to sweet baby James, who is going to introduce our show. And hello, Erica. Thanks for saying hi.
Yes, this is Granny Rocks Our World, which airs every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific, where Granny shares her wisdom, her wit, and her uncommon sense. So, Granny, take it away.
Well, first of all, we would like to thank all those people who have stuck with us through thick and thin and have been watching the
Yes.
show, even though it wasn't actually being broadcast at the same time that we were there. We were doing pre-recordings. So I encourage you to come on and join us and make your comments. And now I can actually answer them, whereas before I couldn't. So, and because we have the internet, I can always answer comments later. Okay.
Did you want to give us the rest of that title?
What guides you, ego, fear, or our 9 friends?
What are those 9 friends?
Well, I was wondering when you would ask. Well, okay. Hello, Bob. Nice to see you. So, we have been going through it, as you know, complain, but it really was kind of tough. We didn't have internet for almost 2 weeks. We're trying to run a business that works on the internet because I do counseling and we do the live streaming. It's a very difficult one. And we almost ran out of propane and then we couldn't get the truck and we had the power and we didn't have the phone. We had a leak in the bay. So anyway, so we've been kind of like, yeah, what's pretty of you? And every day, I could feel this kind of anxiety that was always, right there in the background. Are we ever going to get the internet? So I could feel that my equanimity was pretty low. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the word equanimity, it means like being calm and cool and collected and all of that kind of good stuff. Okay. And I'm very aware of how we can be run by ego, fear, anger, all of those bad things like ambition. Oh, I have to do something because it's my ambition. Or I'm so scared that it's going to make me do something stupid because I am so scared. So ego and fear often do. Hello, Christine. Hi back. I'm very aware of the fact that we can be guided by our fear. Instead of thinking rationally, or intuitively, we are thinking fear, and then we're reacting out of fear. And so that is guiding our behavior. That fear is guiding our behavior. Oh, these people are going to rape me, and no. Okay, I'm going to give you a very, terrible example. You're going to hate this. So I grew up at a time when there was a lot of racism against Black people. And so there was this constant question about, Black men is going to rape you. So I didn't approve of that kind of racism because it's ridiculous. I mean, not all Black men are racist, or not all men will rape you, but not all Black men are rapists. I mean, so I was walking down the street in Cleveland. I had gotten off a bus. It was extremely cold. There was snow everywhere, and I'm disabled. Well, I wasn't any better then. Sad to say. So I'm coming down the street, and there is a Black man. He crosses the street from this side to that side, and he's walking towards me. And I'm thinking, oh my God, there is so much racism. I hate it. It's so unfair. As it just so happens that, I had an 8-year relationship with a Black man. So I had a very upfront and close experience of what, racism is like. So I said, I am not going to get scared. I'm not going to be motivated by fear. So I'm walking down the street, right? And the guy comes towards me and he grabs me at knife point, drags me into an alley, pulls my pants down, and rapes me in the snow. So what I'm saying is, in that case, I told you were going to hate this example. that in that case, I was being driven not by common sense, not by, I wonder why he crossed over at that moment, because I was so anxious to not look like a racist. See what I mean? Everybody who used to like us is going to hang up on us now, right? But it's true. That is exactly what happened. So we can be driven by all kinds of fears. I could have been driven by the fear of, that is not the right, that's odd. Oh, well, I can't change the title on there, but it's the wrong title. It should say ego fear, our friends, our 9 friends just got evaporated. Oh, well, I'm not going to stop for that. But that is not the right. What guides you? Oh, look, I can fix this right now. Okay. Yay! I don't know how that happened. So in both cases, I would have been driven by fear, right? I was either driven by the fear that, oh, there's a black man, that must mean, I'm in danger, or the fear that I was going to look like a racist, right? Both of those were fears. I don't like being driven by fear. I don't like being driven by ego. Let's say, your ego says, oh, you got to work harder because how are you going to look? Or, are you going to get the promotion? And even if it's terrible and you're neglecting your health, you work harder and harder and you go, where is it? So you're being driven by your ego that tells you that you need to get ahead. You need to be the best. You need to, whatever. So that's ego. Now, we can be guided by love, right? That happens too. And that's a lovely thing when we're guided by love and we feel love and we just feel connected to somebody. That's a really lovely thing. So when I was thinking about this very topic, like, I was going to talk about ego, fear, or intuition, which was the first topic that showed up on the screen, but it wasn't the right one. I don't know how it did that. Because I'm an intuitive and I work intuitively, at the time that I did not cross that road, I was not being intuitive. See, which fear was I supposed to listen to? If I had been as, developed in my intuition as I am now, I would have checked in with a higher consciousness and said, okay, is there something ominous about this? I knew there was something. I could feel it from 2 blocks away. But see, I overrode my intuition because I didn't want to look like a racist. But something told me that there was something wrong there. So what I'm saying is we have intuition. God gave it to all of us, but in varying degrees. I happen to have a lot of it. And we're supposed to use it. Now, there's a lot to using intuition. And I'm going to be doing an intuition training, a 10-week training that's going to start on Saturday, April 20th in the afternoons. And I'm going to be doing it on the internet, and anybody can join us who pays. Of course, you have to pay for this. This is a real class. And you can find out all about it if you take a look at our Facebook page. You'll see there's a flyer about it, and it's going to be very exciting. And it's called Train Your Intuition with a Master, because I am a master of intuitive counseling. But it isn't just for people who are counselors. Training our intuition is for how do you deal with everyday life. It's checking in. You can call it checking in with higher consciousness. You can call it checking in with God. You can call it checking in with your gut. But in order to really check in and have any value, we have to be willing to set aside our fear, our egos, our prejudices, and so on, right? Because we're not going to get an answer if we've got something already going on. I'm going to be talking about that more another time. But why I want to talk about our 9 friends is, as I was sitting and thinking about this, and we still hadn't gotten the internet back. And I was freaking out, frankly freaking. We would have to drive an hour to get to the internet. And there were reasons why the place we were going was not going to work very well. And so I was totally freaked. I didn't want to have to do it. And we would have to drive back in the dark, and there's ice and all of that. So it was pretty scary. But I looked around my room, and I'm going to tell you, see, now this is about the healing part, because we're already getting into the healing part here. I looked around my room and look, James, the time just fixed itself. We have real time now. And I saw my statues and my paintings that I have in my office. And I want to tell you something about them. And this is something that I want to share with you because I want to help. I had 9 pieces of art in that room.
Mm.
The first one was this beautiful wooden statue of a woman who was, I don't know where that statue is from. And that was strength. You just looked at it and you could feel her strength. She was big. The next one was a very delicate portrait of Mary Magdalene from the Middle Ages. And she represented sensitivity. Are you writing this down, guys? If not, I'll repeat them at the end. Then there was a Kuan Yin just sitting there, which is a statue of, a Chinese female deity. Now it's female. It wasn't always. And she just represented serenity. And then I have a picture of a wolf with the biggest smile on his face. It's like, sometimes you see dogs and they're smiling at you. And that represented warmth. And then I looked down and we have this little elephant and it's just this cutest little thing and that represented fun. And then I looked to the right and I had this big statue of a bighorn sheep and that represented fortitude. And then I looked at an image that I have of a being of higher consciousness and that represented awareness. And then I have a picture of a horse coming down from the mountain with light. And while he was bringing enlightenment, it was his dedication going down this really difficult mountain. And so that represented dedication. And finally, I had a giraffe, this cute little giraffe. And that represented stretching, our willingness to stretch outside of our comfort zone to develop ourselves. Now I'm going to give you those again. Okay? Strength, sensitivity, serenity, warmth, fun, fortitude, awareness, dedication, stretching. While you are developing your intuition or your connection to a higher consciousness, or even after, we all need these qualities, and these are the qualities that need to guide us. Not fear, not ego, not anger, and all of this. And I sat there in my office and I felt like I had 9 friends sitting in that room with me. They were so real to me. I looked in their eyes, I looked at them, and I said, these are my friends. Now that may sound like a really strange idea, but they are. So many of us believe that our strength comes from our anger or force, or they think that sensitivity is a weakness, or they think that serenity is impossible, or that we should look warm because that makes us not look tough, or we shouldn't have fun, you go through this list, and there are people who don't see the value in each one of these qualities. But I say, these are the qualities that got me through this day. And finally, thank God, the internet came on.
When you had an intuition about that this afternoon.
I had an intuition about that. I was sitting there and I suddenly felt relief and joy. And I thought, oh my God, the internet is coming back on. And then I thought, I can't take this trip. I can't leave this house today. I'm worn out. And I can't face what I would have to face on the other end, which would have been noxious fumes, which would have made me really sick. So Erica said, beautiful perspective on developing intuition. Thank you so much, Erica. These are the beginnings of the qualities that we need, that calm, that peace, that serenity, that sensitivity, that fortitude, that dedication to the truth, that willingness to stretch, that awareness, that sense of fun, that strength. Yes, this is the beginning of what is going to be an actual course. But I want to tell you this tonight because I'd like each one of you to get a symbol of each one of these qualities and set it up in your house. Maybe in one room or maybe not. It's just whatever you need. And when you have attributed that quality to a certain thing, then it carries that. You know, if your bubble bath represents serenity to you, then forevermore,
Yeah,
when
the
you
bottle
look,
holder. Right.
right, you look at that bubble bath and that will represent serenity. So you take objects or pictures, they could be simple objects, right? And you attribute to them that quality that you need so desperately in that moment and surround yourself with it and open your heart and take them all in and start to develop that inner strength and well-being that allows us to start listening to our intuition. And there'll be a lot more about this in the future. So thank you so much for joining us on our first live grow in 2 weeks, live. And we invite you to share this video with your friends, to like it, to comment. I will answer your comments over time because I now have the internet. And if you're interested in our training program, take a look at the top of this Facebook page. It's supposed to be sitting there. And I hope that you begin to take in those energies. It's not easy when we're under stress, is it? But it's easier when you have your 9 friends with you. So come back and see us on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Live, hopefully we will still have the internet by Monday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific. And God bless.
Bless you all. Bye for now.
Bye. Thanks, Bob. Bob said, thanks, Beth. Wonderful.